Hello, thank you for joining me in a new video. This time I have the unboxing of the Galaxy A56. Let's get started. This device is Samsung's mid-range offering. Its launch price in Mexico has been 9,999 pesos. On the screen, you'll see the reference price in dollars, but do remember that prices here are not the same as over there. I want to mention that, like any Galaxy cell phone, it might be wise to wait a bit for the price to decrease as it tends to drop significantly. Just see that in this. At the moment, the Galaxy S24 FE is actually priced very similarly to the Galaxy A56 5G on Amazon. Given this, I would suggest you wait a bit for the price to decrease, making it an even more appealing option. However, let's go ahead and explore it. First, we'll unbox the device, getting a first-hand look at it and its updated design. We'll carefully remove this small protective plastic and then we will proceed to power on the cell phone. I need to let you know right away that the sensation you get when holding it in your hand is exceptionally premium. In that regard, it truly does not disappoint and might even surpass nearly all of its competitors. However, I'll delve into more of those details when we discuss the design aspects. For now, let's concentrate specifically on what's inside the box. There's really not much to find, so don't anticipate us spending a lot of time here. In this part, we will discover the Samsung Care Plus promotion, which is an insurance option that you can choose to purchase as an additional service, although naturally, you have to pay. So it is essentially advertising what is included here, but the other side of the box has a bit more content, though it is not excessively extensive. We find the key for removing the SIM card tray, and then we proceed to take this out. Next, we open this other box and discover the cable, which goes from USB-C to USB-C. In this regard, I appreciate it because it offers us a modern experience, but what we obviously do not. The one thing that is somewhat pleasing is the fact that no charger is included, which means the box is quite simple. Inside, we will only find the documentation included, and that's about it. This means you must purchase the charger separately, which is definitely annoying. However, in this particular case, Samsung does not use a proprietary charging protocol that complicates things further. Therefore, you can use power delivery chargers. Personally, I use those from Ugreen, and they have worked quite well. In the description, I have left a link in case you want to go and acquire one. One of these, they have several. This one that I have in my hands is 100 watts with many outputs, and even though it's 100 watts, obviously it's going to adapt to different wattages. So it's not going to damage the cell phone at any time. And as I'm telling you, they have different amounts of ports and different prices. So that is with respect to the contents of the box. The truth is that it is completely disappointing, does not bring charger, much less brings case or any other additional accessory. All that will have to be to purchase separately. Luckily, being a Galaxy, one of the advantages is that it will have a wide range of accessories available for you to purchase. However, it would be much more convenient to see it included directly in the box. Anyway, let's proceed now to review the specifications of this device so you can get a better understanding of it. It has just powered on, so let's allow it a few seconds to complete booting up. It features aluminum frames on this right side, the island of keys, which is a small relief. The aluminum appears brushed of very high quality, and it comes with a new design featuring the floating camera module. This is similar to what we had seen with the floating design of the Galaxy S25 cameras. However, in this case, the entire module plate has this design. It seems that the contour of this module is also made of aluminum, or at least that is the impression it gives in the hand. But, well, that would need to be confirmed later. It maintains an IP66 level of resistance against water, which is excellent considering its price range. And it comes protected with Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. So I believe that the level of resistance is quite impressive and does not disappoint. The materials are all very good and premium, providing a nice feel in the hand. Although the bezels do not appear to be ultra reduced or anything like that, I honestly don't think it looks bad at all. The screen measures 6.7 inches diagonally and offers us Samsung's Super AMOLED technology with full HD resolution and 1:20. With Hertz in its refresh rate, this screen offers a peak brightness of 1200 nits. Additionally, it features a vision booster that optimizes colors for better visualization under sunlight. Overall, this is an excellent screen, and at this price range, it's hard to find devices that disappoint. Typically, screens in this category have very good panels. In this case, it also includes stereo sound with one speaker at the bottom and another near the screen area, enhancing the audio experience of the headset for calls. As you notice, the speaker has changed its design, opting for a style quite similar to what we observe in the Galaxy S25. It now features a single perforation instead of a grid. At first glance, the sound quality strikes me as quite good for its powerful range. The bass presence is sufficiently high to be noticeable, yet it still comes across as a mid-range sound. In that regard, it doesn't quite match the high-end quality of Samsung's top models. However, I do want to emphasize the Samsung reference. Because the high-end Samsung devices sound really good, but other devices from different brands, even those in the high-end category, are going to have a sound quality that I would say is quite similar to what we find in this particular device. So, the speaker performs well. The front camera is 12 megapixels with an aperture of f2.2 and a fixed focus. Note that the preview isn't optimized, but the result appears to be positive in terms of the level of detail and also in terms of the balance of lights and shadows. However, the color doesn't seem to be as accurate as it could be. I would have liked it a lot more, but I believe that considering it's a mid-range device, it offers a fairly decent photo quality for the front camera. When it comes to video recording with the front camera, it is noteworthy that it can reach up to 4K resolution. However, it records at 30 frames per second. And interestingly, we are unable to use 60 frames per second, not even in Full HD. So it is somewhat unusual that it lacks these capabilities for producing a video that feels a bit smoother. On the back, there are 3 cameras, a 12 megapixel ultra wide with f2.2 aperture and fixed focus, a 50 megapixel main camera with f1.8 aperture, autofocus and optical stabilization, and a 5 megapixel macro with f2.4 aperture. The camera system disappoints, as it's found in cheaper devices. I believe this is the area where Samsung hasn't been evolving much lately. So if you have a keen interest in photography, I would suggest considering the Galaxy S24 FE. It already offers a telephoto camera and an ultra-wide angle camera with much higher quality. Let's take a look at the results. This is the ultra-wide angle camera, which initially seems to have good quality. However, as you get closer to try to discern more details, you'll notice significant chromatic aberration, which is quite unpleasant. In this particular price range, the main camera appears to be quite good, with nice colors, and overall, the pictures seem to look okay. When we zoom in 2 times, you will notice that it attempts to maintain a decent quality. I wouldn't claim it's 100% optical quality, but it does have a fairly good quality. At the short range zoom still photography with a 4 times zoom shows remarkably good detail. However, at the maximum zoom level, which is 10 times, I think the detail falls a bit short. So it's not exactly a photography specialist. Here you are observing another result with a 10x zoom. You will notice that it also creates a slight chromatic aberration, which I believe isn't very appealing for the price range. Manufacturers such as Motorola or Realme are providing telephoto cameras or ultra-wide angle cameras with better resolution and autofocus. Therefore, there are several aspects of this camera that I have definitely not found appealing. This is mainly the reason why I mentioned that we will have to wait for it to significantly decrease in price. It makes more sense to pay a higher price to acquire a device with these features. Regarding the rear camera, you'll notice that we have the option for 60 frames per second, but this is only available with the main camera. Additionally, you can record in 4K at 30 frames per second. Fortunately, the ultra-wide angle camera allows you to record in this quality as well. It's important though that you can dynamically switch between one camera and another, and this process doesn't take too long. This represents a significant improvement. Within the camera experience, it's important to note that the transition between one camera and the other is almost instantaneous, a significant improvement over past generations where switching was noticeably slower. However, we still lack the intermediate zoom settings, meaning it jumps directly from 0.5 to 1x. This is an area where I would have appreciated seeing an enhancement. As for the battery, it features a capacity of 5,000 mAh, supporting up to 45 watts of charging power. It's worth mentioning though that the charger is not included in the box. Nevertheless, this boost in charging capability is a noteworthy improvement, and it's quite intriguing because even the Galaxy S25, which is the base model of Samsung's highest series, doesn't support this level of charging. It only supports 25 watts. So we'll need to test it to see if it truly benefits from this increase in charging power, which should definitely be utilized. I'll share all the details with you once we've completed the tests for the video review. This device comes with Android 15 and One UI 7, offering the latest versions from both Samsung and Google, featuring very impressive capabilities. And this new operating system design honestly looks quite impressive. Although the previous generation will also get the update, it's important to mention something significant. This model includes artificial intelligence features, which are not branded as Galaxy, but rather as Awesome Intelligence. In Mexico, this has been translated into Spanish as Intelligent Functions. So in the gallery, we'll have the opportunity to explore some options that are also available in the camera and others. However, it's not the complete Galaxy suite that is offered in the Galaxy S25, for instance. Then, if you're able to remove objects, you'll also have an option to select the best face in group photos, which is quite helpful. And when you're in the gallery, take note that we're going to discover some smart editing suggestions. It performs a bit of analysis and, for example, suggests blurring the background or remastering the image. The photo to enhance the detail or remove objects. These options are powered by Samsung's artificial intelligence. In fact, these suggestions may appear if you swipe up on the photo, and as you can see, the options will be displayed here. While this isn't entirely new, Samsung is highlighting it in this instance. Additionally, as part of these intelligent features, there's the custom filter section for the camera, which you can see here that it would allow us to have our own personal interpretation of colors just the way we want them. And not only that, but we can even add a photograph to make the color rendition appear very similar. So if you saw a photo of a friend whose colors you liked, you can attach it and the device will attempt to interpret the colors in the same manner. Additionally, there's the automatic artificial intelligence streaming of highlights from your videos and the selection of the most important moments within your videos. Now, it's new that artificial intelligence is observing, which lets you take screenshots, and it now includes extra features. For example, you can simply circle something and it will instantly attempt to adjust and propose some options for you. This means you can extract the text or even pin the content to keep it visible, even if you exit the applications, among other functionalities. Moreover, within the Samsung web browser, there is also the option to read aloud. However, you will need to install these voices separately. As you can see, these are the artificial intelligence features integrated into the device, which probably will not be available on the Galaxy A55. Although this is not confirmed, I believe they will not include them. Additionally, just like the Galaxy A55, you have the circle to search feature available by holding down the power button to access it. Whatever you're looking at on the screen, and you can look it up for a little bit more detail or something similar. Finally, with respect to performance, note that this device comes with 8 GB of RAM, which I think will help it perform well. Also considering that One UI 7 comes much more optimized, and in Mexico is sold only the version of 256 GB of storage, although globally there is also the version of 128. And finally, the processor is an Exynos 1580. Now, I know some people who aren't fans of Exynos at all, but this specific Exynos 1580 seems to be quite competitive. It's similar to what we saw a few years ago at the high end. If you're into numbers, take a look at this. It scores 1,358 points on Geekbench for single core and 3,897 points on multi-core. Just for reference, it performs above the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3, but it's still below the Snapdragon 7. The Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 3 processor is delivering a performance level that closely resembles what we observed in various models equipped with the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. This earlier processor was known for producing quite variable outcomes, with some phones showing slightly lower performance, while others exhibited much higher capabilities. Overall, this provides us with a clear context that the current processor is indeed quite powerful. In the Antutu benchmark test, it achieved a score of 9 lakh points, which is definitely not bad at all. However, it's important to note that it isn't going to be the absolute most powerful processor available within this specific price range. Samsung doesn't prioritize ultra-powerful processors in mid-range phones, but unless gaming is your top priority, you'll have a smooth experience. Especially now that Samsung has updated the OS, everything looks and feels super fluid. In the simple test we're doing, there are no reboots or freezes, it runs smoothly. Clearly, we will conduct more detailed tests in the video review. For now, we have come to the conclusion of this video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let us know and we will catch up with you in the next video.